Ladies and gentlemen, and all other genders that exist, it's me, Majority. And I want to welcome you to December 2021 Q&A, the last Q&A of the year. Imagine, it's been quite a year for Q&A. We've answered lots of questions this year from Terry, from Alex, VG Mashup, SNES Mapper, Bio Phoenix, and all the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another year, another day to celebrate. I'm very happy. This will be releasing on the eve of Christmas, aka Christmas Eve. I'm very energetic. I've got a break. My mind can relax. I don't have to stress. I can just enjoy my time off. Thank goodness, man. My mental health, it's been taking a toll recently, but you know what perks me up is getting back in front of the camera. It's actually my second take on Q&A. The first one, I was hungry. It was a little tough. My hair kept getting in my eyes. It's getting long now. You see this? This is nuts, bro. Ah! Oh my gosh. Wondering if I should put it up, take a minute. I wonder if it'll actually take me a minute to put it up. Ugh. You're getting quite the sight, huh? These are a lifesaver. Like that candy. I've gotten good at this. I didn't know how to knot my hair before, but I basically do 3 loops, and then the hairband doesn't fall out. The only thing that sucks is yanking it out afterwards. I did a bad job. So this one's going to suck taking it out later, but at least my hair is going to hold. Nice. Anyways, we got Q&A. If you want to leave a question for next time, go ahead and join the Discord, Your Sworn Brothers. Link in the description below. And go to the Q&A section. I also post updates as far as how I'm doing, what videos are uploading, and table topics. People like to post their responses there. And if you just want to chat, Majority Speaks is for you. Or if you want to shout somebody out, you can always go to the shoutouts thread. Let's do it. Let's answer some questions. First question will be coming in from Terry's Best Daydream. Since Terry 309 is not in the Q&A section today, I will be drinking tea for Alex, who is Terry's Best Daydream. Can you name 3 underrated game series you'd recommend? And by underrated, I mean doesn't get much exposure, doesn't have rep in Smash. So, no Dragon Quest or SMT. First off, yes. Second, SMT is not represented in Smash. Joker's from Persona 5, which doesn't have Shin Megami Tensei in the title. But I'll abide since you don't want me to mention SMT for the 100th time. 3. 3 is the luckiest number. You know what I mean? Sure, I could do that. First game series I would like to recommend is definitely underrated. We've only ever gotten one localized, and it's a shame. It's a shame the way they don't localize these games. And it's the Retro Game Challenge, otherwise known as Arino's Challenge. This was based on a Japanese variety TV show that you can watch episodes of on, I think, YouTube. They used to have a full playlist, but I found it hard to find them lately. You could probably find them on the interwebs. And in this series, Arino was the host, and he would basically sit in like a office, and he would play a game from start to finish and document his experience along the way. And he was also like, he would throw a bunch of quips in there and funny stuff. There's some good episodes you can watch. Like I love the one about Takeshi's Challenge. I think that puts that game in an interesting light in a way that doesn't necessarily defame it the way most internet celebrities on YouTube do. And as a fan of Bito Takeshi, you know, I appreciate that. And the other thing is, like, he's also got this kind of Dragon Quest aesthetic in the show where he uses like the Dragon Warrior animations on the NES, and he's like the king or something, and every day is like a new challenge or quest, and so that's kind of a cool aesthetic thing. Now that's about the TV show. The game itself is kind of a variety game pack in and of itself, with fully competent arcade style games that range in genres from racing to puzzle and also RPG. They throw a little RPG in there. So I like Retro Game Challenge. It's fun. There's a lot of games within the game, and it's comedic too. All while you're clearing challenges within these games, you unlock the full game, and then you also see, like, it takes place in kind of like a Japanese household with like two kids playing on their Famicom, and they basically like earn the next game, and so it's funny. It carries over some of the humor from the show. So that's the first series I would recommend that is definitely underrated. The second one I would like to recommend that is underrated is Koro Rinpa. Koro Rinpa, if you don't know how to pronounce Japanese. Spelled with a K, as in carrot, not C carrot, the carrot like as in gold, but anyways. Koro Rinpa is kind of a marble simulator where you guide a marble to the finish line. And I played these ones on the Wii. There are two of them, and one of them you can use kind of like animal-style marbles. I had like a penguin one. And you unlock new marbles as you go. Now, if you hate motion control, it's not for you. But if you like that kind of marble game where it's like a tabletop and like you hold it and try and get to the center, this is for you. There's a lot of quirky, fun challenges, and I happen to enjoy that and that aspect of the Wii. The Wii? And Koro Rinpa is definitely one worth checking out. I think there are ones on the Game Boy Advance as well, but I don't know. It's not for everybody, but for the people who it's for, it's a very unique experience, and I enjoy it. The last one I would like to recommend is not a new one. It's one I've talked about before, and it's brutal, and I've never even beaten one, but I would still recommend it for the uniqueness of the experience, and that is Shiren Mystery Dungeon, or Shiren the Wanderer. It's the whole series, really. They're brutal, man. Every one I've played, I've gotten my ass kicked and either had to restart the chapter or the whole game. And despite not having finished one, I still think that the experience is engaging enough and intuitive in a way that makes me want to keep trying and just enjoy the thoughtful nature of the experience. Mystery dungeons are essentially a series where every time your character moves on the board, every other enemy on the board will move. And it kind of plays like chess in a sense, in combination with this kind of roguelike get to the next level sort of thing. And Shiren is especially unique in its style. Shiren has this kind of like top hat. I think you would call him a ronin in Japanese, otherwise like a nomad or a wanderer, as the name suggests. And he's also got like these little cute characters that come with him. Koppa, I think, is this little ferret, and he comes with him for the ride. Sometimes Shiren will also pick up other travelers. They can come for the ride, and like they'll do their own thing. They'll follow behind you. They'll help out in battles. And as you clear each stage, you'll level up. You'll pick up items. You confuse them, but sometimes you don't know what they'll do, so you want to be careful. I'd say it's the next step up if you've played something like a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon or the Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, which is also fun. Now, I think it's like the most authentic Mystery Dungeon that I've played. Now, I enjoy Chocobo. I enjoy slightly the Pokemon ones. I haven't tried the Tornado ones. Those are too far out. And but Shiren, I think, it feels very native to Japan. And it feels like a real ownership of the Mystery Dungeon style. You eat like onigiri in order to charge up. Onigiri is like this little rice ball with seaweed. And so it just feels authentic and natural. And I'd like to be able to clear one. So maybe that's a pipe dream goal for the next year or two, is to clear a Shiren game. Those are my 3 series I recommend. What do you think? Do you like those series? Have you tried any within them? What would you be willing to try? And then what are 3 underrated series that you recommend? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for the question, Alex. Moving on. BioPhoenix wants to know, what 5 characters would you want to have a house party with? Okay, I've tried to be as imaginative as I could here and have like just an insane combination that's not going to result in the house getting burnt down. So they are Kazuma Kiryu from the Yakuza series, Slippy Toad from Star Fox, Mighty Gazelle from F-Zero, and Banjo and Kazooie from Banjo and Kazooie. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hold on. What is with this assortment? Why do you have animals and robots and Yakuza gangsters coming into your house? Well, Kiryu is kind of like, isn't he like former Yakuza? He's not really like, he's kind of like a lone agent. And he always seems to have kind of like a noble purpose in mind. So as long as you don't get on his bad side, I don't think we'll get on his. Now, I do want to see his interaction with a crazy Slippy Toad who's just partying it up, being like, rah! Like, I can only imagine Slippy Toad at a party, like, being just chaotic and crazy, like in contrast to maybe like a Peppy Hare who'd be like, oh, I don't think I should drink or something. I think Slippy Toad would be a fun party goer. Banjo and Kazooie, all the meanwhile, would be cracking jokes, and Mighty Gazelle would just be like, I could only imagine Kiryu talking to Mighty Gazelle about his experiences as an android and like at a racer in a Grand Prix. So I think it could just be an insane house party. It would be a lot of fun, and yeah, that's my combination. Very weird. I don't know. Best I could come up with. Let me know if you could do one better. Thanks, Bio. VG Mashup has some questions. Do I use game guides for tough bosses or challenging puzzles? If I have to. So I have kind of an interesting history with guides and puzzles. I've used a few. Like, I bought the Chrono Cross guide because I wanted to fully unleash my experience with the game. I felt like I couldn't do so naturally without it. But with that being said, I actually, when I started reading it, it said to put the guide down until you've played the game once. So I did. I got a bad ending, and, I don't regret it, but there's some things in the game that are just not explicit. And so I think for antiquated games, it's especially kind of needed in figuring out what you're supposed to do. Like, how can you play through Chrono Cross and not naturally be able to find the Chrono Cross on your playthrough? That's weird to me. And the other thing is, like, if I'm getting frustrated in a game, Metroid Dread, for instance, I found, fun for the most part. The only time I really consulted the guide, well, actually, it was twice. Once there's, like, this room, and it's, like, it's so unclear. It's, like, I think there's, like, a warp thing or something, and, like, I just could not see what it is you were supposed to do. And so I used it just to figure out, like, how was I supposed to get around that? The second was for the final boss. I had taken on the final boss maybe 5-6 times, and it, like, wasn't getting much easier. I know I'm missing something. There's a peripheral visual effect that is, like, very hard to detect what the thing is that you're supposed to do to get around it or to circumnavigate it. So I watched Leo the Funny Nerds video on Metroid Dread's final boss, and I use that as kind of a boon to me. And, sometimes I feel like disappointed after I've done so, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was one where I didn't, where I felt like, okay, the game was being unfair, so I needed to do something back in order to help me. A time that I felt like a strategy guide was the wrong thing to do was playing Shadowgate. When I played I haven't finished Shadowgate, but I was actually just, I was a Kickstarter backer for the reboot or something, and I was just incredibly frustrated about how I was playing. So I was like, I'm going to try some other ones in the series. I tried the original one on the NES, and I couldn't get past the second title screen or something. So I used it to look it up, and I looked it up. I was like, I'm such a dumbass, man, for not being able to figure that out. And so from that point on, with like that kind of like point and click, I've tried to stray from relying on a strategy guide in order to assist me. But I mean, it's hit or miss. I will use it if I have to, but only if I have to. If I feel like there's something within the game kind of preventing me from figuring it out. And if I'm just losing interest and I'm getting frustrated. So that's my thoughts on game guides and tough bosses. Yeah, thanks for the question. Next question also comes from VG Mashup. What are some video games that would make for an excellent book? Would I like to see this crossover? It's 50-50. So, games get comic book renditions. Like, I have a few. I'm not going to pull them up and show them off. Maybe I could do that in a separate video. But I have like a Dragon Quest comic book. I have the Raito Kuzunowa comics. I have some Persona 3 comic books. And some games are transformed into literature. Like Halo has like a whole historical backdrop with like that goes into the universe and the realms and stuff. Tom Clancy as well. I found those books boring, and comic books I'm just not a fan of. So I'm very kind of like, I'm semi against it. But if I was in the position to adapt a video game to an actual book, I would probably pick Star Fox. Just because I think that there is something to be said about missions and in a chapter sense. And I think you could have some awesome banter between Fox, Falco, Slippy, Crystal, and Peppy, and Great Fox. And then the Star Wolf team and then just the unique challenges that come along with it. Like also that kind of sci-fi universe. It might just be a novella. It might be kind of short. Maybe it's even a comic book, but I think Star Fox has the most potential to be adapted into a book. Would I want to see it? Maybe. I think we need to see more Star Fox games that are legitimate as well. A book series of Star Fox is not necessarily a substitute for the difficult past that the series has had over the past 10, 15 years or so. So I'm kind of meh. But what do you think? Are there video games that you want to see a crossover for in book and literature adaptation? Great question. Rave Racer wants to know, is this the Q&A section? Yes. Revolver Axelot. Ooh, going Metal Gear style today, Axel. What game character do you think would make a good Santa Claus? I'd probably go with the King Metal Slime. I don't know. I think that's just kind of like a comic, larger than life kind of character. And I think he'd be, kind of like jolly enough for the kids to come hang out with. I don't think he's going to go attacking kids too. He's a slime, So slimes are harmless. They mostly run away anyway. But if you wanted like a funny Santa Claus, kind of like, or just like this is a comedic style, let's do Kratos from God of War. That's Santa this year. You're getting cold, son. Anyways, SNES Mapper. What is my favorite snow level in games? Snow levels. I think I answered this recently, but Majora's Mask, the Goron Mountain kind of stands out to me. Even if it's kind of depressing, I think just the aesthetic of everything is kind of nice there, and it's eerie in the same tone. So that's where I stand on that. And apples or oranges, I would probably go apples. I just don't like digging my hands into the orange, getting it in my fingernails. I mean, I think in terms of health purposes, probably oranges, but apples are just like an easy snack. But I do understand that apples may not be the healthiest thing to eat due to absorption of like plastics and things like that, and eating the skin, especially if you're not getting like the most natural type of apple imaginable. You don't know where it's grown, so I'm kind of meh on apples as well. I'm if I was to pick a fruit, it would probably be pineapple. Yeah, but that's it for Q&A for the month of December. So we're gonna just type that in here. Questions for the next episode. We'll start here. Boom. All right, thanks for watching Q&A. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed what you saw today. Check out some of the clips. And just thank you for being part of the Majora Tea this year. I really appreciate it, everybody. Have a great holiday season, and I'll see you soon. I'm probably going to do resolutions as far as gaming and maybe YouTube content. But it's going to be a little different because my mental health is in the back of my mind as far as lately, literally and figuratively. But I appreciate you. Blessings, and we'll talk soon. Laters.